Today, we are diving deep into a mystery that's been hiding in plain sight for centuries. It's all about a cryptic Renaissance text that seems to have a secret direct line to the rituals of ancient Egypt.
I want you to imagine something. What if you found a brilliant book, a book that lays out the secrets of the entire universe? But right when it gets to the most important part, the part about you, about human transformation, it suddenly becomes total nonsense. Well, that's not a hypothetical. That is the exact puzzle we are going to solve today.
So, the book we're talking about is called the Monas Hieroglyphica, and its author was the brilliant and, let's be honest, pretty enigmatic Dr. John Dee. Now, anyone with a good education back then could follow his logic for the first 20 chapters, or theorems. But after that, the text it veers off into this symbolic maze that has left scholars completely stumped for 500 years.
All right, so what is actually going on inside this book? Let's take a closer look at the puzzle itself.
Okay, so the first part of the book is this grand, epic story. Dee uses this one super complex symbol, his special glyph, to explain the creation of everything. But then, right after Theorem 20, the focus shifts dramatically. It goes from the whole cosmos to the individual. It becomes a guide for some kind of personal alchemical transformation. And here is the crucial bit. The key to understanding this personal journey, it wasn't just lying around in London for any scholar to find. Nope. The secret was hidden away in a text that Dee himself had discovered and painstakingly copied by hand, a text that was basically unknown in his time. And this brings us to the source of the secret, the clue itself, the oldest surviving alchemical manuscript in the entire world. It's called the Codex Marcianus Graecus 299. Now, the physical manuscript we have is from the 10th century, but what's really amazing is that it's a collection of copies of way older works from the Greco-Egyptian world. Some of these ideas go all the way back to the first centuries of the Common Era. So you see, this isn't just a book, it's a genuine time capsule. And check out the incredible journey this codex had. It was put together in the Byzantine Empire around the 10th century. Then it makes its way to Venice after the fall of Constantinople. And then, in 1563, and this is the key date, John Dee finds it and copies the whole thing, just 1 year before he publishes the Monas. He later leaves his copy in Germany, and it's basically lost to the world for hundreds of years. So what's inside it? Oh, it is absolutely fascinating stuff. You've got texts, supposedly, from figures like Cleopatra, probably not the Cleopatra, but written in her name. And most importantly, you have 17, count them, 17 works by a guy named Zosimos of Panopolis, and he is the central figure in our whole story. But to really understand the ideas in this codex, we can't hang around in Venice or Constantinople. We have to travel much, much further back in time and way further south to a very specific city in Upper Egypt. This is Panopolis. Now, you've probably heard of Alexandria as the big famous center of Greek learning in Egypt. But Panopolis? This was the undisputed heart of alchemical knowledge. This is where all those core ideas that completely fascinated John Dee were actually born. And get this, the Greeks even had a special name for this place, chemis. And from that one little word, we get both of our modern words, alchemy and chemistry. That tells you just how deeply connected this place and this practice really were. You have to picture Panopolis in the 3rd century. It was this incredible cultural melting pot. You had ancient Egyptian temple traditions mixing with Greek philosophy, Jewish mysticism, and even early Christian thought, all in one place. In an environment like that, ideas weren't just exchanged, they were fused into something totally new. And right out of this amazing melting pot emerges our key figure, Zosimos of Panopolis. This is a man who completely changed the game and redefined what alchemy was even all about. So this is the crucial distinction. When most of us think of alchemy, we picture the puffers, right? The guys in a lab trying to turn physical lead into physical gold. But for Zozimos, that was kind of missing the point. He wasn't interested in that at all. For him, the transmutation was internal. The goal wasn't to make material gold, it was to transform the human soul into spiritual gold. And it makes perfect sense, because Zozimos was likely a scribal priest working in one of the old Egyptian temples. He understood that gold making was this incredibly powerful metaphor. It was the language he used to talk about the path to enlightenment, the process of becoming one with the divine.
So where did he get an idea like that? Well, this metaphorical understanding of alchemy is actually rooted in a much, much older and more profound spiritual technology, the ancient Egyptian theology of transformation itself.
You see, for the ancient Egyptians, the entire cosmos was one big cycle of transformation. And the perfect example was the sun god, Ra. Every single day, Ra was born, lived his life, died, and was reborn. This wasn't just astronomy to them. It was the divine blueprint for all of existence.
And there was a key ritual in this whole process called the opening of the mouth. It was something they performed on statues of the gods and on the mummies of pharaohs. The entire goal was to animate the inanimate, to literally open a channel for the divine presence to enter the material world and allow the dead to live again in the afterlife.
And this right here is the secret. This is the key. In that spiritual melting pot of Panopolis, gold-making wasn't about metallurgy. It was a code word. It was the alchemical term for the sacred ritual of God-making, of filling a vessel, whether it's a person or an object, with divine presence.
And we actually know Zozimos was drawing on these deep mystical traditions. In this quote, he's directly referencing a story from the apocryphal Book of Enoch, where fallen angels come down and teach humanity the secret arts of nature, including metallurgy. So for Zozimos, alchemy had a divine, if maybe a little controversial, origin. So, now that we have this ancient key in our hand, let's go back to 16th century London and finally unlock the puzzle of John Dee's mysterious book. That mysterious, incomprehensible initiatory path that Dee starts talking about after Theorem 20, it's not a mystery anymore. It is his own unique interpretation, filtered through his Renaissance mind, of the exact same spiritual process Zozimos was describing all those centuries ago. The transformation of the soul, the journey of becoming divine, the ancient art of God-making. So, it turns out that a 500-year-old puzzle could only be solved by understanding a 2,000-year-old spiritual practice. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other profound secrets from the ancient world are still out there, hiding in texts we think we already understand, just waiting for someone to find the right key?